This conference will now be recorded.
Very good evening to all of you present for today's session. Hope my voice is audible to all the students. Uh, Thanks for confirming. So yesterday we were doing contra vouchers. Yes. So I hope almost all of you have got it. A few had issues regarding uh, the denomination screen, the bank allocation screen, which is not appearing. So if it is not appearing, it should not be an issue because the Tally software, in case if any issues are there, you can just re-update it. Should not be a problem for it. You can directly enter the amount. Okay. So in case if you're not getting the bank allocation screen, okay. So we have to do the last entry. Hope all of you have got the first two entries successfully. Had no issues yesterday. So we'll go for the last entry which we have to pass on the contra voucher. So please log into your Tally software, open your company so that we can start up with the contra vouchers. So once we put up the last entry, then I will let you know how you can view these vouchers, which is the exact report for that. Okay. So we'll go for the last entry where we have to transfer the funds of 1,500 from ICICI Bank to HDFC Bank. Yes, before I start, I need to ensure that are all of you ready? Shall we begin the entries? Or you're still logging into your Tally software? If yes, so please make it fast so that we can start up the entries. Right, so please do along with me. Don't be lagging behind because what happens is I would have moved forward. I'll be discussing at every stage. So please don't join the sessions late. Yes, otherwise you cannot get a hold of the entire session. So make sure your session starts at 6:30 at least, maximum by 6:30, by 6:20, 2025. Try to log in and keep yourself ready for the session. So please log into your Tally software and select your company. And once your company is open, your books of accounts, go to the vouchers and press enter, and you have to be in the contra voucher. So I've given the functional key of contra voucher. So what is the functional key? It is F4. And I'm repeating it again. If you're using F1, F2, F3, F4 till F12, the functional keys, make sure you're going to press Fn in your laptop and F the function key together. Suppose if it is F4 means for contra voucher, you have to use Fn and F4 together. If you use only F4 means you know what can happen, right? So lot of changes. So make sure that please do use Fn and the function key together if you have to access any voucher, especially the function keys. The other keys should not be an issue, right? So we'll discuss the last voucher now. So, I mean, students are joining still. So make sure you log into your Tally software quickly and please reopen your books of accounts so we can start in another 2 minutes. Yes. Fine. So all of you are ready now. So yes. So I was discussing about the last voucher where we are transferring funds of 1,500 from ICICI Bank to HDFC. Now we'll take a classic example using GPay, Google Pay, Phone Pay. We are transferring 1,500 from ICICI Bank to HDFC. So how will I put up this entry? Now here, when I talk about the earlier entries, you had cash as well as the bank ledgers. But in the third entry, you have both bank ledgers. That is, ICICI is also a bank account, HDFC Bank is also a bank account, right? So now, which golden rule applies here? It is your personal account because banks are nothing but artificial person, right? So, what is the rule of your personal account? It says debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now, in this case, which bank becomes the receiver and which bank becomes the giver? ICICI Bank becomes the giver and HDFC Bank becomes the receiver. So, according to you, how the entry should come in the contra voucher? I'm not talking in general terms. In contra voucher, when you are putting up the entry, what should be the credit aspect here? Yes, credit should be ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank. It has to be which one? Is it HDFC or is it ICICI Bank? Right? Yes. So got the response. Yes, it is. Credit the giver. Yes, it is ICICI Bank because ICICI Bank becomes the giver. HDFC Bank is the receiver. So credit ICICI Bank, debit HDFC Bank. So the same entry will put up in the corner contra voucher. Right? So all of you please press enter on vouchers. Right? And as I've kept on telling you, don't only press F4, FN and F4 together. Now, as I've told, select ICICI Bank in the credit aspect, right? And I'm transferring 1,500. So you're going to type 1,500. Moment you type 1,500, you are in the bank allocation screen. Okay. Now here we are not transferring the funds by check. We are going to go for e-fund transfers. As I've told you, all these HomePay, GPay, IMPS, NEFT, RTGS, all are defined as electronic fund transfers. So you're going to press enter on the e-fund transfers, 1,500, press enter. So from ICICI Bank, it is going to the HDFC Bank, right? So you can specify the account number, the bank name. IFSC code is required when you're making a NEFT or the RTGS. Okay, in certain cases in your IMPS, but when it comes to your GPay, phone pay, we usually never go for the IFSC code. Only when there is like no bank transfers. When we are going for it there, we specify the IFSC code. Okay, but in the normal amount cases, we only require the bank name to be put up here and account number as well. And when it comes to your instrument number, of course, where there's a small amount, when we're using a GPay or a phone pay, we usually don't use the chip from one phone to another phone. The fund is being transferred. Okay, so it's a nominal amount, so we do not give the instrument number. So you can only enter the bank name in this case. That's more than enough. So what you can do is you can straight come to the bank name now uh, for this transaction. So you can just press enter, enter, and come to the bank name. I'll repeat it again.
Ma'am,
See, yes.
ma'am, sorry, ma'am. But then yesterday, whatever I did, like I created ICICI Bank, ma'am. I saved it
Okay.
also, but then when I type that, ma'am, in the entry, I'm not getting that. I'm getting only SBI Bank and cash account, ma'am.
Why? Because ICICI Bank you would have created under the wrong group.
Oh,
I'm very much sure because
okay, ma'am.
see, as I've told you in the first session, grouping plays a crucial role. Probably you would have overlooked that ledger. It will be at a capital account or some other group. That's why ICICI Bank is not reflecting in your list of ledgers. And I've told you how to correct it
Okay, ma'am.
from gateway of tally. You have to
Yeah,
go to the
ma'am.
alter option, right? So make the corrections.
Mm.
Definitely ICICI Bank will
Yeah,
apply.
ma'am.
Will do this. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Right? So now for this particular entry, you can just specify the bank name. Now from ICICI Bank, it is going to HDFC, right? So here in the bank name, you can give the space bar. Okay, and yes, now this is the second point of difference. I told you in the first session what are the differences between the trial version and the licensed version. Correct? We have the date restrictions. Then also we have the what do you say payment of installation. Here we don't need to pay any download or installation charges, and of course we have the editions available. This is one more or the additional point of differentiation between a trial version and the licensed version. See, when we are working on the education or the trial version, we don't get the list of banks. We have to specify the bank name manually. If you type the bank name. But if you are using the licensed version, we do get the list of banks in this case. Okay, I'll repeat it again. If I'm using the education or the trial version, I don't get the list of banks. I need to select specify bank name if I need to give the bank name. Otherwise, I can go for not applicable. But since here I have to give the bank name, I'll go for specify bank name. But in case if I'm using a licensed version, I need not type the bank name itself. I do get the complete list of banks. How you get the list of groups, right? In the same way, you also get the list of banks. So out of that, you have to select it. That's it. Fine. So in this case, I'm going to go for specify bank name. All of you select specify bank name and press enter. Here you can manually type HDFC Bank. That's it. So you need not give the IFSC code, account number, instrument number because these three plays a crucial role when you're making a NEFT or RTGS, we're going for IMPS. As of now, for a nominal amount, you can just specify, assuming that we are doing through these GPay. Okay, so we can just give the bank name more than enough. So press enter, and as I've told you, don't disturb the date because once you remove, what happens? I press 1000 or a lakh times enter, I can't go forward. So please don't disturb the date. Okay? So debit is HDFC Bank. Now HDFC Bank is not appearing in my list of ledgers. I have told Diksha, I've repeated a couple of times, in case the bank allocation screen is not appearing, it is not an issue. Fine. In certain cases, it happens. Of course, it has to be revised again, whatever downloads you have made of the software. So it is not a serious issue, nothing to worry. You can still progress with the entry. Okay? Yes, you can still pass the entry successfully. It should not be an issue. It's nothing to worry, Diksha. Fine? So you can do along with us. I'm telling you, it is not your issue. So, okay, so nothing to worry about it. Now debit is HDFC Bank, fine. So now HDFC Bank is not appearing in your list of ledgers. So what we need to do, we need to create HDFC Bank, correct? So above we have the create option. So you can go to the create option and here you can create HDFC Bank. And HDFC Bank will come under the group of. So here you have to be very careful. Yes, there was an issue that ICICI Bank is not appearing. Here, if you make a mistake, you don't see your bank created in the list of ledgers. So please be very careful, conscious enough when you are selecting the groups. So when you're creating a bank ledger, please do make sure that you're going to select bank account as the group. Okay, so press enter on the bank account. That's it. The other details, you need not worry. You can save the ledger by using Control A. This is how your entry appears. So it has to be credit the giver ICICI Bank, debit the receiver HDFC. Press enter. You again get a bank allocation screen and automatically it takes up as e-fund transfer because earlier we had given at the ICICI Bank level, right? So press enter 1500. As I told, don't give the instrument number, don't disturb the instrument date, come to the bank name directly. And here, again, what you're going to do is you're going to press the space bar, and again, you're going to select specify bank name, and here you're going to know from which bank the funds are being transferred. It is ICICI Bank. Thanks. So I'll just show you again in case if you're working on this. I hope all of you have got this entry. Yes. So you can put up the narration as being funds transferred through any of the routes to HDFC. Very I'll give it as GPay. Enter. Accept. Yes. Right. Now, this is for all. I hope all of you have completed the contra vouchers. Is anyone left behind? Yes. So I think we can proceed further. Now, all of you have put up contra vouchers, right? Now the question is where I can find them. Suppose if I've made any mistake, how can I make the corrections? Yeah, yesterday also there were some issues that I had entered the wrong bank. I had the issue, so how do I correct it? So here I give you the answer for that, right? So yes, now all of you press the escape key and come back to gateway of tally screen. All of you press the escape key and come back to gateway of tally screen. Now here below vouchers, can you see there is a day book over there? Below vouchers, you have day book. Under transactions, you have vouchers and day book. Select day book and press enter. So here you can find all your contra vouchers. Safely saved. So this is where you can find your contra vouchers. Not only contra, every voucher which you pass in Tally software you can find in the daybook. A daybook is a book of original entry. This is where you can find your entries. And let me tell you one more important point here. Now, suppose if you have made any mistake, let's say regarding the amount or regarding the ledger selection, whatever, just like how you did the alteration of ledgers, you can also do alteration of vouchers as well. Okay, so in case if you have to make any changes to any of the vouchers, not only contra, it could be any voucher in future. Just press enter to reopen that particular voucher. It could be this, it could be this, it could be any voucher. So just select that voucher and press enter. So you will reopen the voucher like this. Okay, so here you can make the corrections, whatever if you have to. Suppose if it is not ICICI Bank, I'm just giving you an example. It was a SBI Bank means I can make the corrections. It's like this. Got it? So like this, I can make all the corrections and I can save it. So now you can see it is. If I look back and see it will be SBI Bank. So like this, you can make the necessary corrections. I hope now you're able. Now you got the answer. Yes. Repeat the last list of contra vouchers. What is the last list of contra vouchers, Sakshi? I'm not clear with your notes.
Ma'am, the list we got in the last,
That is the
the
day
final.
book. Huh. That is the day book. You have to come back to the gateway of Tally. Come back to the gateway of Tally by using the escape key. Once you're back in the gateway of Tally screen, under transactions you have vouchers, right? Below vouchers you have day book. So go to the day book and press enter to open that day book. See, I'll show you again. You are in the gateway of Tally and below vouchers you have day book, right? Press enter on day book. You get the list of your contra vouchers visible.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. And I'll also show. I'll also tell you one more important thing here. Let's say now this is appearing in a very condensed format, right? A very brief format. Let's say I want a breakup of each entry here itself. I want a breakup of each entry here. How can I get that breakup? I'll repeat again. They are appearing in condensed form, brief way. I want a detailed view of all the entries. I'll give you the shortcut key for that. A classic key, I can say. So do remember this. This key is applicable widely to view any reports, to view any registers in detail, to have a detailed view. So what is the key for that is you're going to use Alt F1. It is Alt and F1 together. So again I'm repeating it. If you're using your laptops, it should be Alt Fn and F1 together. Yeah, three fingers. So Alt F1 and Fn and F1. So this is how you can get a detailed breakup of your entry. How you can delete an entry. Okay, Varsha, this is yeah. Delete an entry is nothing but you can select the entry. Now you're on the day book, right? Suppose let's say I don't want what do you say this the third entry to appear. I can use a space bar. Press a space bar first. Okay, and then you can press Alt D. It will go to delete the entry. If you don't want an entry to appear in your day book, you're in your day book, right? So select that entry by pressing the space bar. It will turn blue in color. Then you're going to use Alt D. I've told you long back. If I have to delete any master, delete any voucher, what is the shortcut key for that? It is Alt plus D. So when you press enter, that particular entry will go off. Okay? Yes. So can we proceed to the next set of vouchers? All of you are ready? So we are done with the contra vouchers. Yes. Now we are going to step on to the next set of vouchers, which is payment vouchers. So I hope the contra vouchers are clear for all of you. Right, so let's head on to the next set of vouchers. Now, what is a payment voucher in simple terms? If I have to record the payment of my business expenses, I have to use a payment voucher. It could be direct expenses or the indirect expenses. In short, if I have to record the expenses pertaining to my business transactions, I will use a payment voucher. Now, how a contra voucher is used to record the transfer of funds, right? Transfer of funds in the nature of deposit, in the nature of withdrawal, in the nature of interbank transfer. In the same way, for what purpose the payment voucher is used to record the payment of business expenses. So given here in short, the payment made for any business transaction should be recorded in this voucher. Okay, and what is the syntax for the same? It is back again to the normal position where your debit appears first and your credit appears next. And what is this debit is? The expense ledger. What is the nature of expense? For what kind of expense are we making the payment? Is it rent? Is it salary? Is it advertisement expense? So it could be any. So that expense name you have to specify that particular ledger you have to specify that. And how are we making the payment? Are we using cash or are we making through the bank? That is nothing but it could be cash or it could be fine. So now we will proceed with the entries for that. And before that, what is the function key for payment voucher? It is F5. Okay. So F4 is contra, F5 is payment voucher. Yeah, these are the three simple practical exercises I have given for you to work on payment vouchers. Right. So before we proceed, let's open the payment voucher. Okay, so let's go on. Now, all of you come back to Gateway of Tally screen, go to vouchers, and now we are going to use the function key F5. Yes. So you are in the payment voucher, and you can see above. See here, it is being put up as payment at the top left hand side, right? It is showing as payment voucher, in the blue tab. Next to that is showing as number one. So it will also number your vouchers. It's a first voucher, second voucher, 20th voucher, 100th voucher. It will record the number. So for instance, see, you need not do it. See, if I go back to the contra voucher, it will show as number five because I've already passed four contra vouchers. It will show as number five. But if I come back to the payment voucher, what is showing as is one because I've not yet passed in one single payment voucher till now. Okay, so this is how it will number the vouchers you put up in Tally software. Okay, right. So let's go for the first entry. Okay, the first entry says paid rent of 8,000 and commission of rupees 2,000 by cash. Okay, company has paid rent and commission. So there are two expenses. There are two business expenses which the company has made a payment of. One, company has paid rent of 8,000 rupees. Second, it has made a payment of commission of 2,000 rupees. And it has made the payment of both by mode of cash. Okay, so it's a simple entry which I've given you. Okay, so this how can we put up with the payment voucher? Now, totally there are how many ledgers which have been, which are visible here? It is rent, it is commission, and it is cash. Okay, we have three ledgers, right? This is how we have to put up and define the journal entry for the same. Okay, now for this, what is the entry we are going to put up in the payment voucher? Okay, yes. So since we are making the payment of rent and commission, yes, of rupees 2,000 by cash. So as I've told you, the debit aspect appears first, yes, in your payment voucher, and then the credit. So when we are making the payment of rent and commission, yes, now I want an answer from your side. When you're creating a ledger for rent and commission, under which group would you create these two ledgers? I want the name of the group.
Nominal.
Yes, Diksha?
Nominal.
I think your voice is breaking. You are all can also put up in the chat box. If I'm creating the rent and the commission paid ledger, under which group will I'm going to create both?
Indirect expenses.
Very good. Isn't that expenses? Diksha, nominal account correct. I don't want the account. I want the group in tally. You have to be very clear, very alert when I'm posing you a question. I asked under which group in tally. Group. Account means golden rule. Correct. It is nominal account. It's 100% right. So on a normal account it appears, but under which group it is? Indirect expenses. And indirect expenses will come under the group of nominal account. So what does the nominal account rule say? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all the incomes and gains. Correct? So now, so now I have to debit rent paid. Yes. Again, there is one more expense which is being paid up. That's commission. And how are we paying both? By means of cash. Now, cash, when we are making the payment of expenses, cash is not coming in, rather, it is going out. We are spending the amount. Yes, there is an outflow of cash. So, it has to be. Now, cash is what type of an account? What type of an account cash is? It is a real account. Cash is a current asset. So, applying the golden rule again, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So, cash is going out, so you have to credit the cash ledger. This is how we break up the each and every aspect of the entry and make a complete entry like this. So, debit rent paid, commission paid, and credit is cash. Okay, this is how you put up your journal entry in the Tally software. Okay, so I've given the entry amount and given the working below. Amounts we can put up in the Tally software directly. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So the same entry we put up here. So rent paid is already there with us. In the initial stages when we were creating ledgers, we had also created rent paid that time. I hope all of you have this right. Yes. So please select that rent paid ledger by pressing enter. Now, what is the total amount of rent paid? 8,000 is the total amount of rent which is being paid. Yes. Now, here, of course, the cost allocation window appears cost category. You can assume that for the Jayanagar branch, rent has been paid. Okay. Yes. So, what you can do is you can press the space bar, select Bangalore, again the space bar. You can select as, so you can select as Vasannagar. Any place. Assuming that this for this particular branch, the rent has been paid. As Sagri and as Janaga. Yes, we are paying rent for the premises which is located in Janaga Fort block. Okay, press enter, enter. Come on. Okay, so now there is one more expense which is being paid
Rent
up.
paid comes under what, ma'am? Rent paid.
Indirect expenses. It is indirect expenses. Okay. If you have not created, create it under the group of indirect expenses. How many of you are creating the ledger for NPay? Let me know. Okay, one. Who else is creating? You want me to display the rent paid ledger, or you can create it by yourself? Rent paid will come under the group of indirect expenses. That's it. Anyways, I'll show you once in case if you haven't created or you're creating it now. Okay, just for your give me a second. I will just show you. 1 second. In case if you're creating the rent paid ledger, yes, I have displayed it, so you can just cross check. Rent paid will come under the group of indirect expenses. Cost centers, of course, we're activating the cost centers, so it will be yes or here. So you can just leave it like that. So just create the rent paid ledger under the respective group. That's more than enough. And save the ledger by using Control A. Okay. Yes. Now the second expense which we are paying out is commission. So what you're going to do is, now currently it was like this CR, right? You're going to replace that CR and with the DR. I'll repeat it again. You had it like this, and all of you observe that your credit is prompting here. But in this case, we are having the payment of two expenses. One we have is this rent, second we have this commission. So there's one more expense which needs to be recorded here in tally. So it is not CR, rather it has to be DR, correct? Don't press the backspace, don't press the delete button, just overwrite it. Just type as DR. Tally will automatically accept it. Just type as DR for debit and press enter. Press enter. That's it. Okay. Now you can create the ledger for commission paid. So you can go to the create option and commission paid under the group of indirect expenses. Okay. So type of ledger not applicable. Cost centers, let me yes. Anyways, we have given that as a janitor footnote. We'll retake that. We'll retain the same. Control A. So it is 2000 rupees. Type the amount as 2000. Moment you type the amount as 2000, again you get the cost allocation window. So space bar, Bangalore, again space bar, Janagar. And now your credit is prompting. So you just need to press enter. Yes, and now give us cash. This now you get the journal entry finally done. So out of 10,000 we have paid 8,000 as rent and commission 2,000 rupees. Yes. I hope all of you have got this. I'll just leave the entry like that. Yes, and put up the narration as being rent and commission paid for Jayanagar, fourth block launch. Enter, accept yes. right? I hope all of you have got the entry. If you have done, enter accept yes. So shall we proceed with the second entry? Under payment voucher, I done the first entry. Yes, good, very good. So I've got good responses. Right. So now we are going to go for the second entry under payment vouchers. Yeah, the second entry says that company has paid advance of 2000 to BC traders by cash. Okay, company has paid advance of rupees 2000 to BC traders. Now, regarding supply of goods, we have paid an initial advance of rupees 2000 to BC traders. Okay, and it is being paid in the form of cash. So, this entry we have to put up in the payment voucher, right? So, here, how do we put up this entry? Now this entry, if we observe, now we are paying advance amount in the form of cash to VC traders. So here we have two ledgers which are being involved. One, it is VC traders, and the other one is cash. Advance we're paying in the form of cash, right? Now here, since we are making a payment of advance to VC traders, there is an outflow of funds. Cash is going out. So cash ledger has to be credited. Credit what goes out. And BC traders becomes the receiver of this advance amount. Okay. And we have to debit BC traders. Okay. Right. So let's put up this entry here. So now I have to recreate BC traders because in the initial session when I was talking about the alteration and deletion of masters, I had deleted BC traders. So I'm going to recreate again. In case if you're having BC traders in the list of ledgers, please select that ledger. If you're not having, if you also have deleted it, you can create it again. Okay, so you can do along with me. So I'm going to the create option now. I am going to create ledger in the name of BC Traders. And since we are making a payment of advance to BC Traders, now under which group can we put up BC Traders? Earlier we had put up under which group it is? Yes. Under which group we can create BC Traders? We are making a payment of advance to him. So it will come under the group of, it is sundry creditors. Okay. Yes. And maintain balances bill by bill have to be has to be yes. Okay, here I will again discuss one important point. Okay. So I hope you have created this ledger, and once you have created it, you can just press Ctrl A to save your ledger. Yes. Now I hope all of you have got this bill wise details for BC traders. Anyone who has not got, I want you to get that bill wise details this screen. If you have not got, let me know.
I
How do I
didn't get
get
it.
this is yes.
Ma'am, I didn't get it.
Currently you're on which screen, Shavi?
I've created the ledger for BC traders.
Okay. Have you saved that ledger?
Yes, ma'am.
Then now type the amount that we are paying 2000 rupees. No, you need not type the amount. Just see here. Chavi, you can just observe. Amount later you can type. Moment you create BC traders and you press enter, you come to this screen immediately. Now, okay, if you're not getting this bill wise details, okay, what you can do is, uh, yes, if you're not getting the bill wise, is BC traders appearing on the debit side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we'll repair the issue in this stage itself. Now, Chavi, you're going to press Alt G, Alt and G together. If you press Alt G, you get the go to option. Is this visible on your screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Ha. Now, above, can you see Alter Master?
Yes, ma'am.
Press enter on Alter Master. Now, you go to the Master Alteration window. Okay. Now, you there, go to the ledger because the BC Traders is a ledger which we have created. So, press enter on ledger. Now, your BC Traders ledger is appearing in the list of ledgers.
Yes, ma'am.
Press enter to reopen the ledger. Okay. Now, have you created under the group of sundry creditors?
Yes, ma'am.
Below that, do you have a field as maintain balances bill by bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it yes or no there?
It's a yes.
It's a yes, fine. So now you can press Control A. It's just to verify. Okay. Moment you press Control A, you come back to the master alteration window. Just keep on pressing the escape key until you come to the voucher. Slowly you have to go. Yes. I'm back to the payment voucher screen. Okay. Now here, are you back here?
Yes, ma'am.
And now you are going to press F12 configuration. Can you see that F12 configuration is there? F and F12 together, or like you can press the configuration screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Now your configuration screen is open, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And now here, above it will be there, show more configurations. Just activate it as yes. Okay. Once you
Yes.
activate it as yes, come straight down. There is a feature as show bill-wise details. In your case, is it yes or no?
It's a yes only, ma'am.
It's a yes. Again, show bill-wise details in multiple lines. That also need to be yes.
That's also yes only, ma'am.
The pre-allocate bills for payment receipts and all is no.
So you should make it as yes. Reallocate bills for payment. That's why I put on the screen here. So you can just capture this and you just cross-check the features. These two are the main fields where you have to be a little alert. Show bill-wise details and show bill-wise details in multiple lines. Reallocate bills for payment, receipt, journal, vouchers if it is no. Make sure it is yes. Show list of bills for selection. That also you make it as yes. In case if it is appearing as. So once you are done with the necessary activation, you can press Control A so that you can save these updations. Yes, are you done? Shall we proceed? Done. So now press Control A. Yes. Now you come back to BC Traders and now you can press Enter. Your bill-wise details will appear.
Ma'am, actually, at the initial stage, I pressed the amount 2000 and then pressed enter so that I got the bill wise details. Is that also fine?
100% fine, yeah, not an issue.
Okay, ma'am.
You should get this screen, that's all. Certain times when we type the amount, it will come. Certain times, immediately after activation, it will not come. After some time, it will come.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay,
I
certain
pressed
times without
2000.
the amount, it will come. Yeah, yeah. Not an issue.
Yeah.
Now here, what is this bill wise details? Let me explain you this. Okay, with the presentation. Right. Now here, can you see there are four types of bills in your screen? You have four types. In your tally screen, you have the new reference, you have AGST, nothing but against reference. Third is ADB, it is showing there, right? It is advance bill. Fourth is on account. What is this new reference bill? New reference bill, okay, it is nothing but when we are purchasing or when we are selling the goods, okay, on a credit basis, in the sense at the time of payment, at the time of purchase, or at the time of sale of goods or services, when we are not receiving a single rupee payment, purely a credit purchase or a credit sale, we have to tag that particular transaction with a new reference bill. Later on, of course, after the we do get a credit period, right? That is, after 7 days we have to clear the bill or we have to receive the payment. So once we receive the payment, or if we are making the payment to the supplier, in simple terms, when there is settlement of the bill, that time we have to go for against reference. So I'll repeat again. When is due reference bill used is at the time of a credit purchase of goods or credit availing of services. We have to tag it with the new reference bill. What does this credit purchase means? When we don't make payment of a single rupee at the time of purchase. Next, at the time of bill settlement, okay, we have to close the transaction. We have received the payment or we have made the payment to the supplier. That time we have to quote it with against reference. This you will automatically see when you're working with the vouchers and the upcoming vouchers. And third, advance bill. What is this advance bill is? Advance, I hope it's clear for almost all of you. Before we make before we make a purchase of the goods from the supplier, we make some initial advance payment, right? Or in case in our homes only we have some occasion. Okay, we hire outdoor catering services. Of course, before he provides the services, he does receive some initial advance, right? We make the payment of initial advance. So the same impact here also it has, that before purchasing or selling the goods, if some amount is paid or received initially, we tag that transaction with the advance bill. The last one, on account. On account is nothing but at the spot, moment I purchase the goods from the supplier, moment I purchase the stock items from the supplier, I make the payment immediately. I don't keep anything pending, and I have not gone for a credit purchase. I select as on account. In the same way, if I'm selling the goods, I've received a payment from my customer. Again, it is a spot receipt of payment. That time also I will quote as on account. So this is how the bills are being applied depending upon the nature of the entry. Okay, now in this case, in the current case, we have made an advance payment to BC traders, right? Now you tell me which type of bill would you tag for this transaction? Is it new reference, against reference, advance bill, or is it on account? Okay, so what is the type of bill you're going to put up there? It should be, yes. I hope the four types of bills are clear for all of you. Yes, it is advance bill. Okay. So now here you are going to select as advance. Yeah, name. Name, of course, it is in the name of BC Traders, you're going to make the advance in the name of the organization. So give as BC Traders. And when it comes to the due date or the credit days, it is only taken or it only plays a role when we are going to pay advance in 1 or 2 days, now we have not yet made a payment. So as of now, you need not enter this field. You can straight come to the amount and put up the amount as 2000 rupees. Due date or credit days, you can enter that particular due date or credit days when we are going for a credit purchase or a credit sale. You know, a 7 days credit period is given by the supplier for us to clear the payment. Or if I'm going for a sale of goods, I am going to declare the credit period or the credit term for my customer or for my client to clear my bill. In that case, we can give the due date or the credit days. As of now, we are paying advance to BC traders already. So there is no question of due date or the credit days. In case if we are paying after 1 or 2 days, then we have to give the period as 2 days or 1 day or 3 days, depending upon the entry transaction. Right? So I hope you have entered this. Type of reference should be advance, name BC traders, and amount is 2000 rupees. It automatically comes as debit. So press enter. It comes end of list. Press enter again. That's it. So your CR is prompted. Press enter. Now how are we paying the advance? We are paying in the form of cash. This is how we put up the entry. And let me tell you again one important thing. Types of bill, that is new reference, against reference, advance bill, on account, they are only applicable to two ledgers. That's it. Is sundry debtors and sundry creditors based ledgers. That's it. Apart from these two, you don't find this bill by bill applicable for any of the other ledgers. It probably may show, but it is not practically applicable when you're putting up the entry. Okay, so here we can put up the narration as being advance paid in short. And you can clear the entry. So enter accept, yes. Yes. Good. Right? So move on to the last entry under payment vouchers. Yes. Now, yes, here we have the last entry, cash withdrawal for household purposes, and we have withdrawal of rupees 5,000. Yeah, the proprietor that has withdrawn 5,000 from HDFC Bank, company's bank, for household purposes. Now, moment I take the term as household purposes, so what is the nature of expense here? Moment I say personal use, household purposes, what do we consider this as?
Drawings.
Very good. It is drawings. Yes, it is drawings. Right. Now, when it is drawings, now drawings does become an expense when I take from the company's point of view. From my point of view, it could be benefit for me. I'm withdrawing, I need it immediately for my personal use. But when we are recording the entries from the company's point of view in my company's books, it is always the nature of an expense. But the highlight here is when we are creating the drawings ledger, we cannot create the drawings ledger under the group of indirect expenses. Where do we spot these drawings actually? Do we find them in the trading account, profit and loss statement, or in which statement do we find drawings? Usually, Yes. Why these questions are being posed to you so that you do have that clarity when you're creating the lectures, right? So where do we find these drawings actually? In which statement? Yes. Where can we find the drawings? Do we find drawings in trading account, profit and loss statement, or the balance sheet? We find drawings in the balance sheet. Okay. And we find drawings under the capital structure. Yes, you can also look back and check again. We find the drawings under the capital structure where we have the opening capital, to that we add the additional capital, and then we minus up the drawings, we subtract the drawings. Yes, okay. So whenever we are creating a drawings ledger in Tally software, we have to create it under the group of capital account only. We cannot create drawings ledger under the group of indirect expenses because it is the wrong way of identifying the drawings ledger. We don't find drawings in profit and loss statement at all. Yes, so that's why I told grouping does play a crucial role when you're creating them. Yes, when you're creating the ledgers. So now, if it is a drawing, it is the nature of an expense. Okay, so how would we put up the entry in the payment voucher? Moment I say it is an expense, of course, we are going to debit the expense. So it has to be debit the drawings ledger. Yes. And we are withdrawing 5,000 rupees. We, in the sense, the company is withdrawing 5,000 rupees from the HDFC bank. So HDFC bank becomes the giver here. Yes. So yes, this is how we can put up the entry. Debit drawings and credit HDFC. HDFC Bank becomes the giver and debit drawings, since it is the nature of expenses. But when you're creating the drawings ledger, it has to be created under the group of capital. Okay, so let's quickly proceed to this entry. Yes. So I hope all of you are the payment voucher. So please go to the create option. Yes. You're going to create drawings under the group of capital account. One moment you create under the group of capital account, you can press Ctrl A to save your ledger. Type the amount as 5,000. Now, before we select HDFC Bank, we don't have the HDFC, we do have that. Okay. Now, before we put up, let's check that do we carry or do we have sufficient balances in our bank account? How do we check that? Now, here we have to give as HDFC Bank, correct? Because we are withdrawing 5,000 rupees from HDFC Bank. In Tally software, how do we check the cash in the bank balances? Now, before I am going to withdraw for the household purposes, I am going to check what is the current bank balance and then I'm going to withdraw. Okay, so in Tally software, how do we check the cash in the bank balances? What is the step to be taken? Okay, so what all of you are going to do is all of you are going to press Alt G. Okay, you can press Alt G. Alt G navigates you to the go to option. Okay, and here under common reports, these are the common reports. Don't go to the save views. Under common reports, if you can observe, there is cash or bank book there. Press enter on cash or bank book. Yes. This is how you can see what is the current cash balance and what are the current bank balances. Now, in the current case, we are going to withdraw 5,000 from HDFC Bank. But before I withdraw, I have to check whether I do have a sufficient balance. In case if I'm not having sufficient bank balance, I need to ensure that I'm having sufficient bank balance. Okay, so here let's assume that we are putting up the transfer of funds from SBI Bank to HDFC Bank. Okay. Now, if you observe here, we only have 1,500 in the HDFC Bank, but I have to withdraw. I need at least 5,000 to mark the withdrawal for my household purpose, right? So, what do I do is I'm going to make a fund transfer from SBI Bank to HDFC Bank before I put up this entry under payment voucher. So, what do I do is currently I'm in the cash or bank summary. Yes. So without quitting the current screen, I can pass a contra voucher because interbank transfer are allowed only in the contra voucher. So what you can do is you can press Alt G, Alt plus G, okay, and there if you can observe up you have there create voucher. You have create voucher, press enter on create voucher. It will show you payment voucher again, but don't worry, your old voucher is still there. It's not got deleted. So what you're going to do is you're going to convert that payment voucher to contra voucher. So press F4. You'll be the contra voucher. Okay. Now we are having funds in our SBI bank which needs to be transferred to HDFC bank. So what you're going to do is now SBI bank becomes the giver. So select SBI bank. It is showing current balance as 5,000. So we are going to transfer 4,500 from SBI Bank. Okay. And here, the same thing you can adopt. Press the space bar and select e-fund transfer. Select e-fund transfer, 4,500. Come straight to the bank name. There again, press the space bar. Now to HDFC Bank you're transferring. So the list of banks you're going to select specify bank name and here give here as HDFC Bank. Need not give the check number. Press enter and come back to the main screen. Now your DR is prompting. Press enter. You'll come to the list of ledgers and here you're going to select HDFC Bank. This is how when the banks are running off insufficient balances, where we have to make a cash deposit or from one bank to another bank where we have to make a fund transfer without quitting the current voucher. On spot, we can put up the entry without quitting the current screen in Tally. This is what I want to show you today. Okay, so now I am having sufficient funds in my HDFC bank. I'm having 6,000, so I can easily withdraw 5,000 rupees from HDFC bank. So press enter. Okay, it is e-fund transfer already. Press enter. Come to the bank name directly. Again, give your as SBI bank. So being funds transferred to pay to HDFC enter, accept this. So once you put up the entry here, press, oh, all of you have got till here? Yes? Right. So accept yes. Now, what you can do is you can slowly press the escape key. It will ask you to quit. Again, press the escape key. You'll come back to the cash or bank summary. It is like a rewind button, your escape key. But you have to be very, very careful. Press the escape key, you come back to your payment. Okay. Now currently we are withdrawing how much? 5,000 rupees. So type the amount as 5,000 and convert the debit to credit. Okay. Type as CR and press enter. And here you're going to select as HDFC. This is how you're going to complete the entry. This is how your entry should be put up. Debit drawings 5,000, credit HDFC Bank 5,000. Press enter. Okay. Now, in this case, we'll make a small assumption that the funds are being withdrawn via ATM. Okay, how we have done the withdrawal entry when we're doing the contra vouchers. So how do we get the transaction type list? We have to press the space bar here. Now we press the space bar, now here we don't find the ATM. So where we have to go? We have to go to show more. If we have to press enter on show more, and there we get ATM. So it's clear that from ATM we have withdrawn 5,000 rupees. Enter. Being cash withdrawn for household purposes. Okay. Enter. Accept this. So this is how we complete the payment vouchers today. So I hope until here it is clear. In case if you have doubts, you can just raise your issues now. And where you can find the vouchers I've told you, it is in your table. Yes, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. Yes. Hope it is clear until this stage. Yes, put up the screen again in case if you're still working on that, you can complete the voucher. Accept this. Yes. So we have come to the end of payment vouchers. So contract payment are brought to an end. So in the next session, we will be putting up the receipt vouchers and the German vouchers. right? So you can just complete your practicals until payment vouchers. In your next session, we'll be moving on to the receipt and the gym, as I've told you. So until then, keep up your practice going on. Yes. So we come to the end of the session for today. I'll meet you up in the next session. Thank you all.